Afternoon all. Afternoon Diamond. Gumani. Just got out of a Euro US dollar this morning, just before Powell spoke. We had a bit of a spike off of Powell's speech, but he didn't actually say anything. So not quite sure what that spike was all about, but I'm getting ready to re-enter at yesterday's high if we get up there. So I've got obviously too short at the moment. And I'm getting in again if we break that low, anticipating that getting invalidated. But I will re-enter again if we get up to yesterday's high and we start to get a reversal. So just watching that level. This is unnecessary. He hasn't said anything. So a lot of weird moves going on at the moment. A lot of weird moves. Let me know if the stream quality is okay, because I'm running an optimization again. And it's chomping through. So hopefully I've got some processors left. Right. So look at the DAX this morning. We had a horrible session this morning. Choppy. Really nasty choppy open. We did get a little bit of a move out, which I managed to bank a tiny bit of money on. And then we came back up. I had to go at that. I had to go at that short. And it just came straight up and stopped me out. So, yeah, horrible session. This is a typical rotation day, just literally down to the lows, back up to the highs. This is where we started, and basically we're back where we were. So complete rotation session. Nothing you can do with those. You can't make money out of them. So we'll be watching the highs and the lows on the DAX, but I'll be trading the NASDAQ this afternoon. So, which I've got the EA set up. Just testing. I'm testing various set files at the moment. I'm testing different opening ranges basically, just to see what the impact is on actually getting in. So I've got a load of sets I've optimized for. I've just run a load of these sets in the strategy tester. All these ones which are running 10% stops are rubbish. So these ones, all these ones that make like 700k, 400k, 500k, they will work. But they will be some of these stops, some of these opening ranges you get are going to be like 40 pip ranges, 25 pip ranges, that sort of thing. You're looking at 2.5 pip stops. So basically you'll get in, your stop will be there. If it ticks down like that before it moves up, you're out. But if you get in, you have your stop there, and basically the candle that opens your position goes bang, you will make a fortune. So I haven't actually looked at the strike rate on these, but the strike rate is going to be tiny, but the return on investment is absolutely huge. So if you're happy to sit there for a few days, stroke week or two, not making any money, and then suddenly bank 15k, go for it. But I can't bear to watch it. So it's not for me. Not my type of strategy. They do work, but they're just, oh God, drive you nuts on a day-to-day basis. The trouble is, when you're watching stuff in the strategy tester, you see it playing out in super speed, don't you? In here, you see everything going like super fast, and it's like, wow, look at that. Let's see if we can get one that works. There you go. Yeah. See, none of those worked because the stops are too tight. This is testing that strategy basically. No re-entries either. Look, bang, bang. What did that do? $179. But if you hadn't had that stop, entered there, stopped out there, you missed all of that. But if it had gone without that tiny pullback there, you'd be sitting in. So that's 1,000, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8K of profit. So, you know, they do work very, very well, but you drive yourself mental because watching this go is like absolutely fine. But watching these 5-minute candles unfold second by second absolutely kills you. So, from a mental perspective, I've decided not to go with the 10% ranges. Right, we've got 3 minutes to the open. So I'm running a 50% range at the moment. What's that stop loss? Right, I'm trailing my NASDAQ stop, basically. So I've got a NASDAQ position on. So that's being trailed, basically. I want to get out of this NASDAQ, obviously, when we start trading. So, sorry, Charles Perez, I don't speak whatever it is. I'm assuming it's Spanish. You have to speak in English. I don't think you find many Spanish people in here. Let me just quickly post that. Ooh, I can't spell. Trailer on my NAS. Yes. NAS trade. Right. So we just had Powell speaking. Good old Powell. So what he said basically was he's not going to say anything about the US economy or the prognosis for monetary policy in his speech. So basically, we had a red news event and he came out and said, I'm not going to say anything. So basically, what happened was the euro US dollar, well, basically the US dollar tanked for 15 minutes because he said he wasn't going to say anything. So obviously, the market just threw a hissy fit because it was annoyed that he wasn't going to say anything. So basically, nothing's happened. So I've got out of one of those. I was anticipating potentially him moving the market. So I just wanted to trail it. In case it flew down, I would trail with it. And obviously, in case it flew up, I would get out. And that's what it did. So holding those two short. My pound US dollar, again, same thing with the pound US dollar. It's pushing up because the US dollar's dropping at the moment. Everything else, as you can see, oil's going the right way, which is nice. So we've got a nice movement to the upside on oil out of that NASDAQ. Nice big opening range going in. So other than that, Aussie dollar CAD, I've closed one of those out. There. So I shut that one this morning. That's about it, really. That is the loss from the Nasdaq this morning, from the DAX this morning, from the EA test. So Aussie dollar CAD still in, pound New Zealand. So you can see what I've got on. That's everything I've got on at the moment. I'm just waiting for this US dollar to do something, unfortunately. So no news this morning. Oh, hello. Some news is just coming. Due to COVID lockdowns, China's growth in 2022 fell by 2.7%, but will pick up in 2023 to 4.3. Okay. If you're sure. Due to rising borrowing rates and skyrocketing energy prices, the Euro GDP zone is expected to stagnate in 2023. There's nothing we don't know. The effects of monetary tightening, slowdowns in the US, the EU, and China will spillovers from the Ukraine war have clouded the outlook for growth. So it's just telling us what we know. Nothing. It's not really red news, is it? Oh, they've done it again. I'm on 1 minute chart. Sorry. I was like, why am I looking at candles with twos on the end? Because I was on the 1 minute chart, not the 5 minute chart. So that's a big old opening range we've got going in this morning. This afternoon even. This is weakening US dollar. So obviously no other news to look at this afternoon, so we haven't got to worry about that. GDP growth forecast to drop down from the forecast of 2.2. Wow. Okay, so they're estimating a big GDP drop on the US dollar. That's not good, US dollar. Global growth predictions massively reduced. This is all negative news, so I'll keep an eye on that. ADRs today, so far, nothing. We've got nothing hit yet, weekly or today at all. So no movement. Story of our life at the moment, isn't it? No RSI extensions on hourly or 4 hourly. There you go. Off we go. Let's go home. Done. Utterly rubbish at the moment. Market's just ping-ponging all over the place, not got any directional bias whatsoever for some reason. So we're just sitting. So we've just taken out the highs on the NAS. So again, looking at yesterday, all we've done so far today is we've come down and we've swept yesterday's low. Now we're pushing up. We've swept the Globex highs, so potentially targeting those highs there, or we're going to push up and drop. So we're putting in a lower high and a lower low. So we'll see where we go. That is a hell of an opening range. Look at that. That's going to be hard to trade today. That's a monster. US dollar must be absolutely collapsing. Jesus. Okay, this is some tech stock buying here, because we were not seeing a particularly weak US dollar. Look at that range, 100-point range on the first 5 minutes. That's absolutely massive. Absolutely massive. What do you do with that? Looks like I'm going long, but that's going to be tricky today. So we're back up at the highs on the euro US dollar. So obviously the London highs at the moment, potentially there's a load of liquidity there on that drop. So they're taking that liquidity. Yesterday's high will also have liquidity at it. Obviously, this is the second day push after the rally from non-farm payroll, unemployment claims. So 2 positive days. So if we take out that liquidity and stay around here today, that could potentially be the drop that we're expecting tomorrow on CPI. So I'm going to be watching this high here and seeing what kind of price action we get up at this high. If we get some limit orders triggering up here and rejection, I'll be looking to add another position on the euro US dollar up there. Same with the pound US dollar if we're there. Not quite. We've got a bit of room to go yet before we get up to the Asian highs. And yesterday's high is quite a way away yet. So I'm just watching these levels. Pound US dollar I'm not going to add because I've obviously got one already on up roughly here. So we're not going to add another one to that. But the euro trade I will do. Didn't quite get there. Big movement. What happened? I hate that when I sat in a trade in profit for 6 hours, then it fully reversed in 1 hour. Yeah. I know. It's life. That's life. Nothing's happened. I think they were trying to use the market. They were trying to use Powell to move the market. And obviously Powell said he wasn't going to say anything, so they couldn't. So they had a little spike anyway, little tantrum. It's a little market maker tantrum. He wanted to nick everybody's money, and Powell didn't give him an opportunity. So just watch this open, then we'll have a look at the FX pairs. See what's going on. So the Dow is pushing hard. So we got divergence here. We've got the Dow Jones making new highs. We've got the NASDAQ not making new highs, which means one of two things. The NASDAQ's lagging and is going to pop in a minute, or the Dow is popping without any volume across the rest of the indices and sectors, and that's going to retrace. So we've got a propulsion gap that we're trading into on the Dow here. That one, from that accumulation pop. So we're either going to find some sellers here, and that Dow is going to start getting hammered, and this is going to come down. So basically, this is the real price action today. This is fake. Or let's have a look at the S&P. So the S&P is doing pretty much the same as the NASDAQ, being held at that level there. Dow's managed to find extra volume to get through. So good short opportunity on the Dow here, potentially. Either that or this is a pop. Either way, this is really tricky to trade today. These massive opening ranges, obviously, the thing that you've got to, there you go. So the Dow's getting hammered there. The thing you've got to worry about with these opening ranges is that you're just going to get inside bar after inside bar after inside bar. There's literally nothing you can do. If they've decided to make virtually the entire session move in one candle, that's it, isn't it? You've got to play around inside here somehow and try and make some money, and it's very, very difficult to do. So Euro's rejecting highs. So potential strength in the US dollar, which means negative index. So watch this Dow here. A good trade idea here is a break of that range. So one of two things is going to happen. Either the NASDAQ is right, as I say, and we're going to dump, in which case this Dow went too far and you want to take a short out the low there, or this Dow is going to break that range and fly. So the sellers have tried to hold us back here, and if they can't, it's going to break out those highs, in which case then we're going to get a break on the NASDAQ as well. So this indecision candle, this spinning top, is basically indecision in the market. So we've had the initial opening cash balance go in. The market is now undecided as to which direction to go. Depending on if they've dumped all the orders to start with, the speculators are now going to take control and move where we're going to go for the start of the session. Looks like down to me. NASDAQ's down, S&P's down. Looks like the Dow should be breaking to the downside as well. Okay, so we've got a lower low and a lower high at the moment. We've got another 4 minutes on this candle yet, though. So. Gentlemen, what does your runnings totals show? You have open profit, but it's not updating with price movement. Right, so this basically, this is showing your profit based on the EA. So of course, none of the trades that I've got running at the moment are taken with the magic number that this EA is running on. So this will only update on candle close when the EA's got trades running. So if this magic number's not trading, it's not updating. So it's not designed to show. This isn't designed to show you the P&L of your account. This is designed to show you what's going on with the EA. but it's an amalgamation, because obviously if you've traded the DAX this morning, so it will show you, what you've closed today. But because we've got no trades open, this isn't updating. It will update on candle close. Every candle close, this will update, regardless. But when you've in a trade, this updates on tick. It's designed to speed the EA up, because I don't want this updating on tick constantly every single time doing calculations and all that sort of stuff when it's not trading. So when you're in the backtester, you want to limit all operations as much as you can to be on candle close rather than on tick, because on tick puts way more stress on the system when it's trying to run backtests. So yeah, open profit. I do have open profit, 802. Well, it's now 610, but as I say, this is updating on candle close. So when this candle closes, you'll see this all change. Well, that won't change, obviously. Because this is designed basically to get you out when you hit a target. So if you've got other trades you've taken today, this morning in the DAX, if I made 2.5 grand in the DAX today and my target's 4.5, I'm only going to need to make a couple of grand this afternoon. So I want it to get my target and then go, right, we're done for the day, thanks, and close this trade out. It won't close all the other trades, because obviously it only manages the trades that it's in. But if I've hit target, I've then got the option to go over here and I shut everything else down as well if I want to. Not that I would, because it's different. I'm running multiple strategies on this account. I shouldn't be. I should be having the EA running an account. But obviously I'm not doing that, because I'm doing it in here. So we're not that organised. Although I have got it obviously running in other prop accounts. So okay, so we are just about to close this candle. Lower low, lower high on the Dow. Lower low, lower high on the NAS. This is the bottom of the propulsion gap. So we're either going to find some buyers in here, so that move is going to be continued, or we're not. So opening range 2 has just gone in. So I'll either take a break downside or upside from this middle of the opening range. And then hope we get a move today, seeing as we didn't get one in the DAX. Hopefully we don't get another choppy session. So you see that all updated now. So second opening range has gone in at 363. This is what I mean by this. These set files that I'm testing with a 10% stop. Your stop at 10% is going to be 3.6 pips. So your entry would be there and your stop is there. It's just way too small. On the back tester, it looks amazing, and it will work, but you would be just smacking yourself around the face every day, because you'd just be stopping it, stop out after stop out. And especially if you get a slippage like that, you're going to take twice as much damage. Okay, short on the NAS. Stops pretty much break even. Oh, blimey, that was a quick test. Wait a sec, I've just got these results I need to grab. DAX. Okay, so the profit's locked in on that. You see now it's updating on tick because we've got trades open. Okay, so if you took that short, you're in. Same way as I'm in here. So I'm out of that one. Little profit, a lot. Again, fairly tight trailer. I'm using a 25 pip trailer, which is for the NASDAQ, it's very tight. But I'm looking to capture these, bang, 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 these fast breakouts. Any chop like this at the moment, I just want to be back out. I want to be flat here. It's chop again. Getting a lot of this at the moment. Really are getting a lot of this at the moment. The market's so directionless. It's either going, this is what they seem to be doing at the moment, putting in these massive moves fast, or chopping. There doesn't seem to be the normal, let's have a lovely, what we used to, lovely trend day today, shall we? We're just getting either that, or we're getting that, which is just hideous to trade. But I just want to run another, just setting up a DAX test with TPs set to 200. 200. Good. Okay, so that's completely retraced. So we're back inside opening range 2. So again, pending order under that low. If we're going to come back and retest this low, I'm getting in again. Go short again. Again, big candlesticks going in today. Making any movement yet? Still. Bar close. I'm just doing screenshot. Doing another DAX test. Go. Did I just get stopped out of that trade? Missed that one. Yeah. Break even. So that's annoying. Look, break even stop. This is what happens with break even stops, people. You get break even. Never mind. So I'm just doing things in the background. Bear with me. I'm just setting tests up. So, oh my God, this is lagging like hell. Stop. Okay. Right. So pushing back up to the upside now on the DAX, on the NASDAQ. Really, really nasty open again. So looking to go long. Again, not so I'm long now. Not going to be good for the US dollar by the looks of things if this is going to break to the upside. So US dollar will be coming back down again. Euro US dollar will be pushing back up again, as will pound US dollar. They're all inside bars at the moment. Inside bars of our opening range, obviously. Still no ADRs. Got 6 minutes till the hourly candles close. We'll see if we get any RSI alerts potentially to act on today. The next opening range gone in there, which is the 20-25 minute opening range. So that's the 3 opening ranges. Again, we've got 2 inside bars on the opening range. Just chop today. Again, hard conditions when you got these choppy days. We need is one breakout that actually goes. And I really want it to break that way because then we're going to get Euro US dollar and pound US dollar coming down. Oil's not going anywhere. New Zealand CAD, everything else is just stuck still. So long again. I think I might start to filter these out. Need to run some more tests on this, but I had my initial set files all set up as a maximum of 800. So we were looking at 80 point opening ranges. It wasn't trading anything above 80 point opening ranges, and that's the reason. But the idea of this set file is to try and grab opening ranges with inside these large ones. So it's a good test of it today to see if it can actually benefit from getting in faster. Because if what I'm expecting to happen now with the NAS is one of 2 things. We're either going to run for the highs and lows. Oops, wrong one. So we're either going to run the high, or we're going to run yesterday's low, or low of the day, obviously. Or we're just going to get a push to an inside bar and then reverse. So the idea of this in taking these ranges that form within here is if we're going to get that sort of movement, we'll still be able to profit. Whereas the initial opening range break, obviously, wouldn't really make any profit there. It would get stopped out at break even. Whereas these ones, the inside ranges that we're taking here and here, if that happens, they'll make a nice profit. Even if it comes and challenges that high, we are only going to get a break even trade. So again, all these set files will work differently in different market conditions, which is why you really need to have different types of set files running on different accounts. So it doesn't matter what type of day we get, one of them is going to work. That's what I'm trying to achieve, basically. So a test of this high and pullback will give me break even on these two trades and an opportunity to get back in again. A breakout and a run of the high, but we need some volume and some momentum, which is what we're very much struggling with today. Okay, so coming up to retest the highs. So obviously yesterday's high, we've taken yesterday's low. So that is the obvious thing to do. So today, what we're stopping out on again. Just can't get anywhere, can it? It's utterly useless today. Same as yesterday, just chop, total chop. All they're doing is literally liquidating everybody constantly over and over again. Absolute nightmare. So looking at visualizing what's going to happen today, that's our candle from yesterday. So we've got a lower low already put in. So we've got potential here to put in an outside bar if we're going to run those highs. Or a bear bar, because we've got a lower low. And if all we do is push up back into here and then sit around somewhere in here all day, we're going to put in a lower low and a lower high, which means we are starting to turn bearish, which is what I'm anticipating the market to do on US dollar strength, obviously. So we're just not getting it, are we? This is the problem. I think the problem we're seeing here is the market is confused as hell. We've had nothing but bullish sentiment on the US dollar, and the US dollar's tanked. I don't think they really know which way they want to take it at the moment. I've got a feeling we're just waiting for CPI on Thursday, so they've got some indication. And this is why we're getting all this chop. There's not really any sentimental bias. They're not entering any longs or shorts of any size at the minute because there's no real clues as to where we should be going, is there? So just breaking even on all these at the minute, really. Tiny losses, break evens, tiny losses, tiny gains, bit of profit there. You know, it's just not getting any runs. So hourly candles are in. No RSI extensions. Nothing much to look at. So let's have a whiz through the pairs and just see if there's any decent levels we can see. So Aussie dollar CAD. So bias wise, obviously, nothing much has changed. So actually, there has been a bit of change actually this morning. So let me just this won't have refreshed yet. It will refresh in a minute. But we were a lot more bearish this morning on pound US dollar. This was up in the 70s this morning. We're now down below the 60s. Not a lot of change there. This has gone a little bit more bearish. So we've had a little bit of a reduction in bearishness on the pound US and a little bit of an increase on bearishness on the euro US. Again, total confusion across the board. New Zealand dollar CAD, massive bearish sentiment there still. So still got my long on that one. But there's not really an awful lot of change between these two. So that's 69 and 82. I don't think this is going to update that quick. Updates on the hour, but it takes a few minutes to feed through. So 80.63 updated. I've just said what the numbers were. I've completely forgotten whatever. What's New Zealand dollar CAD gone to? 89. Yeah, that was 90. Right, so it has updated. So you can see we've got a lot more people flipping long now on pound US dollar. This is what we want. We want people to flip against the US. As soon as they flip against the US, they'll be able to power the US up because liquidity will be the opposite side. So not a lot really. It's not changing fast enough to make any moves at the moment. So in one long again, Out again. Just chop, 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 chop. Aussie dollar CAD. So obviously got that one off. I'm not going to put another one on because I'm already short on that one. We're not got any levels. So yesterday's high, previous day's low. So all we're doing at the moment is we're down below yesterday's low, which is great. So we're putting in a bear candle. That's our high today. Got a lower high. So all moving down on Aussie CAD. That's good. I'm short Aussie CAD. Aussie dollar Swiss. No real levels to look at on this one either. These are the lows. So, you know, non-farm, continuation, pullback. Don't know. Looks good for longs at the moment. Aussie dollar Swiss. Sentiment on it is range bound. So there's no real bias anyway at all on Aussie dollar Swiss. So you can kind of do what you like with this one at the minute. It is obviously bullish short term. Long term, we're massively bearish. So, you know, it's range bound. You can see, you know, we've got a range bound sentiment on it and it's doing exactly that. You've got a big range and you've got a little range. So take your pick, really. I'd be looking on this one for extensions on RSI. So you had your entry there yesterday, short, which has played out very nicely. I didn't get on it because I was on the other Aussies, Aussie, New Zealand, Aussie CAD. But there's your reverse alert on the hourly. M15 reverse alert yesterday was higher up. Very nice tight one yesterday. So if you took that one yesterday, you're absolutely quids in. Jesus, look at this thing. It's just wick after wick after wick at the moment. This is either going to do this all day or it's going to absolutely fly. So this is quite a nice set file to be running on this because obviously when we do get these pushes, it reduces your risk really fast with this trailing drawdown on tick. So quite like that. So this set file basically, just to run through it, what it's doing is it's got TP targets. I've got a tight target, a slightly better target, and a runner. And it's basically taking the 5-minute range, having a break, taking an inside range of that, and then taking an outside, what should be an outside range, but we haven't got it today. So 3 different ranges, 10 minutes apart, basically. It's getting back in using a 25-point trailer, break even after a 10-point move. There, sorry. And that's basically all it's doing. So it's designed really, as soon as you get that break, yeah, and we push up, we get these positions on, we break even on them, and we look for momentum. And when the momentum goes, we make loads of money. Obviously, when you haven't got momentum and all you've got is 30 minutes of chop, can't do anything about it. But it reduces risk really fast. So you don't lose a lot when you're in the chop, but you will lose, but you won't lose a lot, but you will benefit nicely when you get the moves on. But it's not even thinking about it, is it, today? So yeah, Aussie dollar Swiss, undecided on Aussie dollar Swiss. At the moment, it's long-term bearish, short-term bullish. Aussie dollar yen, looking for shorts on all these yens. RSI highs. So you had one yesterday, worked out nicely. Had one there, lasted a couple of days, but not really looking for any direction on these apart from shorts on them. The market's long on all the yens. So if you look at the sentiment on the yens, well, that one has got a zero bias, but a lot of the others we've got bias longs. So no real directional bias on these at the minute on the yens. Aussie New Zealand, I was short. I'm now out of this one and flat. I've taken the EA off the VPS, so I'm not trading this anymore at the moment. It is still a massive short. So Aussie New Zealand is one of the biggest shorts out there at the moment from a fundamental basis and a COT basis. We haven't got sentiment on side at the moment, but I still like it short. This was an ADR reversal that I took last Wednesday, and it took 4 days. 4 days to play out. So this shows you how choppy this market is at the minute. It's just a mess. So Aussie New Zealand, I am short on based on long-term time frame and movement and sentiment and everything. So I'm looking at this as being a pullback on this move, short. But I just don't like the speed of that move and this accumulation. So there is a possibility we are just taking liquidity and going to push a little bit more. So I've just turned the EA off at the moment because I really don't have any strong commitment as to whether we're going to go long and short on this at the minute. Long again, long two. So we'll see what happens. But I like it short. So if we do get this push down on Aussie New Zealand and we do actually manage to make some progress to the downside, I will be looking for RSI extensions to the upside or ADR extensions to the upside to get in short, basically. So right now it's extended to the downside. So I'm looking for shorts on this from a fundamental perspective. So I want to be getting in up here. This exactly see why I got in RSI extension, ADR hit to the upside. So we had RSI and ADR on our side. Got in on the reversal alert. It just had to sit in the thing, unfortunately. So come on, NASDAQ, make your mind up. My God, look at this thing. So we've basically got higher high, higher low, lower high, lower low, higher low, higher high. Yeah. Absolute up, down, up, down, up, down every single 5 minutes. You couldn't even trade this on the 1 minute chart. But when it goes, I'm going to be on it. Not going to get me today. Aussie dollar, US dollar. So again, US dollar strength, waiting on that US dollar strength to come through. We don't seem to be getting it at the moment, as you can see from the NASDAQ. I want this thing, even if it stops me out in these positions, I'd love this thing just to collapse out the lows here and just go for it, go for a run today, because that's really going to pump the US. So Aussie dollar, US dollar, same thing. Sentiment is a massive sell at the moment. Everything fundamentally is against the Aussie. Everything fundamentally is positive for the US dollar. Everything from a commitment of traders and an institutional perspective is pointing to a downside move. It's just not able to get the move on at the moment on the US dollar. So we're waiting. We're just waiting for something. Stopped out break even again. Jeez, look at this. Pick a direction already. So yeah, really like that. We're not at any decent levels at the moment. We've just taken out the highs here. So that was liquidity before Christmas. So I would be very surprised if there was actually liquidity there. This is not, you can see obviously pending orders didn't fire here. We just slammed straight through. So just waiting for fundamental moves to the downside, really. We're not getting it. So like it's short whenever the US dollar decides to put its finger out. CAD Swiss, bias is range bound on the CAD Swiss. We've got retail sentiment on our side, so we should be looking for shorts on this one. Again, not going anywhere at the minute. Sideways, we're on, so it depends where you want to pick. But that's last Thursday, that's last Friday, that's Monday. Tuesday, we actually managed to make a little bit of movement to the downside. We've pushed up again and we're back to where we were. So just flat, nothing's moving. Very, very difficult to trade anything from any perspective whatsoever at the minute. All the yens want bearish bias. Again, 4 days sideways. Trade on this for me would be yesterday's high. I want it RSI extended, at least on the hourly, or an ADR hit to the upside. Not getting it. Swiss yen, same thing, sideways. Again, yesterday's, I mean, if you want to take it down to real, we've got a push at last. Finally. Took your time. You watch this be a sweep of the highs and pull straight back down. Swiss yen. yesterday's highs, really, with any of this stuff at the moment that is just sitting range bound, yesterday's highs potentially are a good spot to get in. So if you look at that one there, that was the previous day high. There's yesterday's high. Took it out, dropped back down. If we push up, you can get in short there, but they're just scalps. Very, very fast, short scalp trades. All you can really do with them at the minute. So got some little bit of profit on these. I think I might just TP'd on some of those. No, there's just more break evens. TPs are up there. Struggling up at the highs again. Look. Come on, let's get some movement going. So yeah, Swiss yen, either way. Euro odd. So moving on to the euros, range bound euro odd, range bound euro Swiss. So that's a nice looking short opportunity there. M5, you just had the reverse alert and retest during the end of the London session. Just missed that one. M15, you've had the reversal. So that looks like a good long, good liquidity run up at those highs. So we got all this range bound activity that we had. We had that propulsion move, which broke the lows. So it's traded up into that propulsion move again, and we're pushing back down. Bias on euro odd is very tricky. So if you look at the euro odd and what's actually going on with it, the vast majority of what's giving this the negative score is the fundamentals. But we've got COT on the opposite side. So COT is long because they are long the euro and short the CAD. If we look at the COT positioning. Yeah, so the market at the moment, they're 71% long on the euro. Canadian dollar, they're 67% short. So that's meaning we should be looking long. So market participants are long on it. Fundamentals are kind of the opposite way. So it's a very tricky one to trade at the moment, which is why it's got sort of a range bound. Let's get a push, momentum push. Come on. Let's get propulsion gapping. Pull your finger out. NASDAQ. Can't look. It just can't do it, can it? It's amusing to watch when it's like this. Right, so I've got at least on this trade here, these trades here, we've got some profit locked in. So we're actually going to make some money on this move. It'd be lovely if it goes from here, because obviously this position will then also make money rather than stopping out at break even. But just can't get one on today. So yeah, euro odd. I like this short from here, but from a COT positioning perspective, that's long. So it's a real mixed bag. So you've got a good opportunity to go in short there. You've kind of missed it. The reversal alert was earlier in the London session, at the end of the London session. There we go. Got a bit of a pop now. So you could get into this now. There's plenty of movement down into these propulsion gaps. Quite where it's going to drop down to, very difficult to tell. Directional bias is obviously very difficult on it. So we have formed potentially, or we are starting to form a range. So I kind of like it a little bit more long than short, because Lagarde's a lot more bearish on the euro, and the Aussie's fundamentals are really bad. So I prefer to be looking for long opportunities on this, but it is a nice short at the moment. Got some decent movement now. That's good. Finally, some profit. EuroCAD. So EuroCAD, again, fundamentals on this one, I think were range bound. Yeah. So EuroCAD, Euro Swiss, all range bound. There's no real levels to look at. This isn't really a propulsion gap here. It's a really choppy sort of double-ended stop hunt move, so I wouldn't pay any attention to that one. So we're above yesterday's high, no real opportunities. We just had a range break basically, so not really interested in that. Euro Swiss, again, no fundamentals on this one. We're range bound, as you can see. That is the ultimate definition of range bound on Euro Swiss. It is more bullish than bearish. So again, cop bias is really taking that long because the euro, they're very long on the euro at the moment. So I'd be interested in these lows. So RSI extensions to the downside is what we're looking for at the moment to try and grab these, because the probability is it's more likely to break out to the upside than the downside. So we want to be buying the lows with anticipation of them being right fundamentally, and the cop positioning being right and breaking out to the upside. So if you take a reversal there, and that is the one that you take when we go for the break, you're obviously going to get stuck. So from a position trading perspective, I'm looking to get in that way. But there's nothing wrong with taking scalps short on it. So just pulling back, just going to stop out on those positions. Right. So now you've stopped me out. When you stop me out on those, you have full permission to completely reverse and tank everything you've done so far today, because then we're going to get some decent strength on that US dollar. So that's it. I'm happy with that now. Not that I banked much on it. I'm only risking $100 on these. So obviously these are scalp trades. So, but yeah, love to see this tank now. So Euro Swiss, yes, lovely little opportunity to take a short from here. If we're going to remain range bound, you've got these lows here to look at, those lows there. Either way, it's all below an ADR move. We've got this propulsion gap here, which potentially could get retested. It has already retested once. And obviously the buyers step back in and push back up again. And we're stepping into the range highs where all the limit orders are triggering. So, you know, flip-flopping around here is not out of the question. Again, it's range bound pair. So euro pound, this is a bullish pair, euro pound. We've got cot on side, we've got fundamentals more on side. Again, we're range bound. So you can take these ones. So those were the trades. We looked at this one this morning. That was the area that I was looking at. Belongs, and it's worked out beautifully. I had too much euro on to take it myself, but that trade worked lovely. Euro yen, no idea. Euro New Zealand, all sells, same as the euro US dollar. So again, looking for highs, propulsion gap move we've just had there. So M5, M15 reversal alerts, just had it, retesting now. So there's a potential entry short on euro New Zealand right now. I'm fully exposed on New Zealand, so I can't take that myself at the minute. But that looks like a nice looking short. So if you look at this longer term, we are starting to move down in a channel. So we had a push into a double top this end of last week and into Thursday, Friday last week. Big propulsion move down out of that accumulation. This is our first retest of that propulsion gap. Yeah, and obviously that is non-farm payroll or unemployment. So this is the news event. This is the retest of the news event. The news event for Euro New Zealand was negative. So continuation. However, Euro is still bullish and so is New Zealand. So you've got a strong pair against a strong pair. And the reason this is a bias to the downside, oh, it's not on cot, this one, sorry. I thought this one was on cot. It's just on fundamentals. So if we get cot positioning starting to come on side and we get retail the wrong side, this is a really good sell. New Zealand dollar is so strong at the moment, but you've got that worry that the euro is going to power up. We haven't got any euro news coming up. I don't think for a couple of weeks. No. So yeah, we're very light on euro news. So there's no market moving events coming up for the euro. So I fancy that as a short. That's a good place to take it, but I'm exposed on it at the moment, so I can't take any. Euro US dollar, I'm already in. Damn, we got the rejection at the highs. Look. Okay, so we're just pulling back down into opening range 1. So it may be an opportunity to try and grab another long. Yeah, we got US dollar strength now. That's good. So we've just had a reversal on the 5-minute, taking out the London high and then retest. So that's your end pattern reversal. So if you want to, you could take a break of the Asian midline short. I'm going to add down there as well. Whoops, hang on, not that size. So if we get a strong US dollar push this afternoon, I'm going to add one more when we break that low. So that's the double bottom. If we knock on the door again and bounce, fine. If we slam through it, we're coming down into either that level or more likely to retest ADR, which is down at yesterday's low, pretty much. It's not yesterday's low, actually. That is it. It's not quite yesterday's low. Yesterday's low is a little bit lower because the open was down there, but that's kind of where we pull back into. So either down into here, potentially down to yesterday's low, because there will be liquidity sitting there. Anybody that basically longs during Asia will be having their stops under there, won't they? So there's liquidity sitting there. There's liquidity sitting there. So if we break this low here and we don't just use that liquidity to stay range bound or push higher, that's where we're headed. So looks good for shorts, Euro US dollar. But again, we need that US dollar. We need that strength on the US dollar. We're just not getting it at the minute. So like that one as a short. Pound odd. So pound pairs, everything is range bound on the pound apart from New Zealand and US, again because of the fundamentals on the New Zealand and the US being so strong. Those two are sells, very strong sells, and I'm already short on both of those. So looking at all these pound pairs, looking basically for any type of high or low to be taken out, any kind of RSI extension in either direction, but I would much rather trade this short. If you look at the fundamentals on it, all of the pound pairs, even though these are saying range bound, they are still all minuses. Everything is minus pound. So the pound fundamentals are not good. So I'd much rather be looking for shorts than longs on everything. So again, if we were to trade back up into these highs or up into that area there, for example, anywhere around a support and resistance, I'd be interested in shorting. Any ADR hits to the upside, any RSI hits to the upside on the 4-hour, the hourly, anything upside, basically looking to take shorts. So if we pushed up and got an ADR hit today at that propulsion gap, short. Yeah, any excuse to get in short on this, really. You could take a breakout, double bottom breakout at yesterday's low. Obviously, that's going to be with beyond ADR, so it's not the best trade in the world to take. That's why breakout trades are more difficult, because by the time you get the breakout, the market's already done the move and it's quite tired and extended. So much better to take a mean reversion or a pullback trade. So pound odd looks good. Pound CAD, same thing. Oil, weakening again. There's no strength in oil. Again, Canadian dollar relies a lot on oil export, so it's struggling with oil prices at the moment. So yeah, again, shorts on this one. We have broken out to the downside, but broken back up. So for the wick-off traders out there, we've had a big, strong move down, push back up into the highs. This is kind of your range. It's not very pretty, this range, but it is a range. Potentially that is the spring, long term, back up. So if we push back up into those highs, there is potential for that to happen. It's going to need a very, very weak fundamental to come through on the CAD, or a very strong change in fundamentals on the pound for that to happen. So for me, this is more of a continuation to the downside, and this is just a pullback on this move. So right here, if that is the case, is where you'd be looking to get in. But again, I want to see an RSI extension on this. I want to see some reason for me to get in short. There hasn't been any RSI extension. There's been no strength of pullback to the upside. There's been no ADR hits to the upside apart from non-farm payroll. So yesterday's high, short that. It's really all you can do at the moment. So drop down to M5. If we were to push up to yesterday's high, reversal alert, somewhere up there is the only entry I can really see of any decent caliber on this one, but again, we're just sideways. Pound Swiss, same thing. We're completely sideways, looking for shorts, looking for some kind of reason to get in. We got that whacking great move there. That's the low of the last couple of weeks. This is the low of the month. With just inside bars and sideways. So again, no reason. It's all range bound. So range bound, you can take double bottoms, double tops, playing the ranges, ADR extensions to the upside, yesterday's high, reversal alerts, anything like that, RSI extensions. But you know, right now we've got nothing, have we? We're literally just sideways today. Pound yen, nothing, sideways. Pound New Zealand. So this one I'm short on. So this one we have actually got the fundamentals on our side. We've got a strong New Zealand dollar at the moment. We've got COT positioning on our side. Same with the US dollar. So we've actually got a decent bias for this one. Let's just a quick look at the NAS. I think I just got stopped out on one, didn't I? Yeah, a little stop out there. So again, we just tried, EA just tried to get me back in on chop. Just chop, choppity chop. Right, so I'm looking really, I want to go short on this. So if you're trading manually, this is where we want to get short. I'm anticipating some US dollar strength coming in. So we'll see how we hold up here. So I've got short orders here. Do you know what I'm going to do? I think this is a little bit too tight. I'm just going to extend the trailers and I'm just going to extend the break evens as well. So buy stops have just gone in again. I think you need to adjust as you go. And if you're going to let this run on complete autopilot, that's absolutely fine, obviously. But if you're like me, using this as a tool to get in automatically for you, so you're lazy, you need to adjust on the fly as you go. Because of the size of this and the volatility today, the stops are too tight and the trailers are too tight. The trouble is, if you adjust based on that initial opening range candle and then volatility drops within that range, you can't. I've tried to use ATR to do the stops and the break evens, and it just doesn't work because you can't take any ATR before the open because the volatility changes completely from here to here, as you can see. So you can only take the volatility of the last few candles, and that doesn't work very well. But there's something I'm going to retest as well. I was thinking about using volatility 5, which would take that candle, that candle, that candle, that candle, and that candle. So it wouldn't take that candle because that's the current candle. It would take the previous 5 candles. So you're just using the volatility range of the 5 and placing your stops outside of that volatility range. That is something I've got on my list to test, which I didn't test in the initial development. So. Right, let's get some US dollar strength. Come on. Pound New Zealand we're on. There we go. Not massive, but there is some. So Pound New Zealand, I'm looking for short. So I'm already short on it at the moment. I've just got the one position on. And since I've got into this, we've just not gone anywhere. So you can see my TP. I'm not being greedy. I just want an ADR move. That's all. I just can't. It just can't do anything. It's just going sideways. Pound US dollar. So again, short on this. Got 3 positions on. First position, got in, trying to get short on that. I had other positions on this, trying to trade non-farm. We just got completely opposite move to all the fundamentals. So I'm looking for this fade. It's not going to be a fast one. It's going to take a while, or CPI is going to drop it fast and hard. So just waiting for news again. How did the test on the short scalp strat work out in the end? Short scalp strat work out in the end. The short scalp strat. What's that? I don't know what you mean, short scalp strat. I'm just retesting at the minute. A different set files the fella sent you from the US. Oh right, okay, yeah. Yeah, so this is a variation on these set files. So yes, I've got loads and loads of testing done on it. I haven't gone through the testing yet. I am going through it. So basically, this is the testing on the NASDAQ. I've done a NASDAQ test. I've done a DAX test. This is another DAX test, which is running right now. So this NASDAQ tested 10,000 variations or something. 8,704. There you go. Huge profits, 500,000 plus a year. But this is off of a 100K account. But his strategy was working on a 10% range, which is absolutely fine if you get a big range like today. Yeah. So where we've got that, we're putting a 10 pip stop in on the NASDAQ. 10 pips on the NASDAQ is a sneeze. So the reason it's returning 500,000 to 250,000 is because it's being completely murdered 70% of the time, and every now and again it gets 2 massive candles to the upside. The breakouts that thing is profiting on are the ones that go like that, pull back into here, and then depending orders, slam. Those are the days it will make a fortune, but it will get chopped around an awful lot. And although it's profitable, I've back tested it over 2 different periods out of sample. I've system parameter permutation tested it here, as you can see, with multiple different TPs, entering again, not entering again, different trailing sizes. I've done all sorts of testing on it, and it is profitable across the board from 250,000 down to 500,000, no problem. The problem is, if you watch this thing, it will drive you nuts, because you'll see it losing or breaking even and losing and breaking even, losing and breaking even over and over and over and over again, and you'll have to wait 2 weeks to get a profit. So the other problem with it is slippage. If you get slipped, so that one I got pretty much spot on, as you can see. So my entry was there, my order is there. This one, my order was there, my entry was there. Yeah, that slippage, when you're talking about a 10 pip trailer on the NASDAQ, that slippage is worth somewhere in the region of $200. You take a 1 or 2 pip slippage into account on 20% of your trades, you're suddenly knocking 200 grand off the profitability of it. So although it might look like in the simulator it's great, when you do a slippage test on it, which again is another system test you have to do on all strategies, it doesn't survive slippage very well. If you add commission into the equation, knock another 100K off, because the lot sizing it's taking. On this account, it's not too bad. On something like E8, you're going to be paying $50 to $100 a trade in commission. And if it's getting a whippy day, you're going to be paying 2 to 3K a day in commission. So when you start factoring all that into it, it doesn't work. So the tests that I've run, I've filtered out this and this. and I've said, right, look at anything that is a bigger stop. And then we suddenly start talking 100K, 40K. And this is what I've found is the sweet spot, around about 40% range. And that's going to return 130K a year. This is realistic. This you can get on, and this you could probably stomach if you're watching it. So, you know, you're talking 100Ks down here. This is 30% stops. So anything 30 to 50%. Now I'm rerunning that test on the DAX. And again, we're looking at £250,000, etc. So it's massive returns. I'm just rerunning this with 50 to 125% ranges. And I think I'm going to find that is really where you want to be sitting. But your profitability, again, you're going to be only looking to make 50 to 100 grand a year. To me, that's realistic. Yeah. And this is what I said initially, didn't I? Oh, this looks amazing on paper, but you try and trade it. And you saw me trying to trade this thing. It got slaughtered. We didn't see a day where it went mental and made an absolute fortune. We will do, but I couldn't bear to sit through it. So if you're the type of trader that wants to stick that on your account and never ever look at it, fine. You'll probably do very well long term with it. But I get the feeling it's got potential to blow accounts as well, with slippage. If you accidentally caught a trade just before a news event, you could potentially get slipped 5 or 10 grand. You know, it's just a little too dangerous, I think. That stop being too tight, the lot size is going too large. So, but this is a variation I'm running on it, which seems to be all right. If you can get this momentum, I mean, this is just the wrong day to be doing this. This is, you know, total chop. Another test to do on this is to, again, I haven't done this test yet, but another test to do is to test the ranges. Yeah. So we've got a 100-point open today. So testing somewhere between, making sure you've got a minimum of a 40 and a maximum of sort of 80, I reckon, or maybe 20 to 80. That's probably going to have a positive impact on the results as well. But again, all this needs testing, and testing takes time. You know, every test I run is sort of 12 to 24 hours. So I can only test certain things at certain times. You know, back testing for me is a 2 to 4 week process to find set files that are going to be decent. So, but they're out there. I'm assuming you've managed to test this version 1 to the current version for the past couple of weeks. Summary of the results stroke trades? No. You can look at the set files that I've put on the blog post, but I've only had my my VPSs running for this week, haven't I? Don't know when I started them, but they're all in negative at the moment because we've had a choppy week. So this account, I've only got 3 versions of the set running, and they're all very similar. So do this yourself. This is, you know, you're the trader. Go and trade. This one's $1,400 down. This one's 1,200. That's when it opens. 2 grand. Yeah. But this is to absolute typical. This is exactly what I would expect to happen. Stagnation, money, stagnation, money, stagnation, money. That's a profit curve. That's a proper profit curve. So all the profit curves. Go and look at the profit curves on the blog with all the set files on. You'll see. Yeah. And this is the problem with back testing. Yeah. In back testing, you will see a beautiful profit curve like that. In that is a month. In that month, there'll be tons and tons of losses. So I'm waiting for some range breakouts. We're not getting them at the minute. Look at this morning and look at today, this afternoon. There's no range breakouts. Yeah, you can't make money on these days. I will make $3,000 to $5,000 every time we get a range breakout. I have to sit through this crap to wait for the range breakouts. In exactly the same way, I have to sit through drawdown, waiting for the US dollar to put its finger out of its backside. Trading is 90% sitting on your ass, doing nothing, losing money, and 10% making a fortune. That's what trading is. You have to sit through this. But if you want to, do the back, you've got to do the back testing yourself. I'm not going to provide anybody with set files that make you money. All of the set files make you money. Pick one. They all work. I've provided a spreadsheet in the Telegram group with 200,000 different variations, not even that many, about 100,000 variations of set files that all produce a profit. Every single one of them. Just pick one. They all work. But don't expect to make £1 million out of it. That's not what this is about. This is about making money long term. This is a long term edge. David, following you, we have all learned that drawdown is not a bad thing. Yeah, exactly. It's what your account's there for. This is the thing what people don't understand, and it's a very valid point you brought up, and I'm glad you've taken it on board. If you've got a 100k account to trade with, you've got 100k of drawdown, right? Your account is there to be drawn into. The whole purpose of getting into a trade is so that you can trade, right? I'm trading the pound US dollar at the moment. I'm in drawdown on it. Why? Because the trade hasn't worked yet. If every trade we took worked immediately, we would have no need for drawdown, would we? We'd all be millionaires off of a $500 account. Drawdown is there to be used. When I'm in negative equity on my account, it means I've got risk on. That risk will turn into profit. I just have to sit and wait for the market to move in my direction. So if you're using a stop loss, you're going to get stopped out anything from 10 to 15 times in a row on one strategy, and your account will draw down by 10 to 15% while you're waiting for the profitable trades to arrive. So whether you use position trading or you use a stop loss, it's the same process. You're going to take a lot of loss. This strategy at the moment is struggling today. Anybody that is trading double tops and double bottoms today has done all right. I'm trading in trend breakouts, and at the moment we haven't got one. But this is the hunt for the holy grail that we're all on, isn't it? There is that strategy that makes us all a millionaire, that works all the time. There's time when the equity curve is flat or downwards. Yeah, you got to be patient. That's why I put all the strategies, didn't I, into the quant analyzer yesterday and showed the equity curve. The equity curve is beautiful on this particular strategy. But you're going to have stagnation for anything up to a month. We had, what was it, 37 days of stagnation we had maximum, didn't we? So if there's 37 days, you're going to literally not make any money. It's going to lose money for 37 days. Do you want to earn 100 grand a year and have a month where you don't make money, or do you want to try and find the holy grail that makes money every day? That's the question, and everybody's hunting for the latter, unfortunately, aren't they? That's why 85% of traders fail, because they're looking for something that does not exist. The 15% that are making money have actually realized they've got no control over the market. They just have to sit there and wait for Powell to talk. That's the only thing that moves the market. Powell, interest rates, inflation, GDP, and unemployment. That's what moves the market. Other than that, you sit there and wait, hoping that you catch a time when some big market participant has decided to dump a load of orders into the market. If he decides to do it now, challenges those lows, everybody that's long pukes, I'm going to make a load of money today. Otherwise, I'm not. Nothing in any of that is in my control whatsoever. I have risk on, and I have a controlled risk, and my reward is whatever the hell I can get when the market wants to move. If it doesn't want to move today, don't make money. That's the crux of it. If you don't like it, go and get a job in McDonald's. Not pointing this at anybody in particular. I'm just saying, that's what you got to sit through. That's what this job is. Pound New Zealand, just covered this one, haven't I? So looking for shorts, already in short. Take highs if you get them. ADR highs, RSI extensions, anything like that. I'm in. I'm waiting. Not going anywhere. Small stop out again on that one. It's just too choppy today. Pound US dollar, Audion, short, got 3 positions on, waiting. We've had the hourly the hourly reversal alert, finally. We had the M15 overnight. So we have got bearish movement starting. So just looking for yesterday's high to remain intact. If we can keep London high intact during the New York session today, even better. So we got high, low, lower high, lower low. If we can keep this lower high intact, we've got a good chance at starting a run. If we can break that level and that support, we're going to come and challenge this propulsion move. So again, this is all going to be dependent, I think, on Thursday. I don't think we're going to get this move started until Thursday, until the CPI figures. And I think that's what's going to start it. But we'll have to wait and see. Until we get CPI out of the way, I don't think the market's, you can see the market's not wanting to move anywhere, is it? It's just stagnating at the minute. New Zealand's, so New Zealand dollar CAD, I'm long. Again, sitting there waiting. All we're doing at the minute is range bound. Market is bullish. New Zealand dollar CAD, so it's a buy. We've got COT on our side. We've got retail COT offside. The fundamentals are just flat on these two at the minute. So just waiting for some strength. And again, if we get that US dollar strength coming through, it's probably going to help the Canadian dollar, which will bring this one back down again. So I will stop out if that happens. Yesterday's low, basically. Yesterday's low is really all I'm interested in. If we break back down below there, I'll have another go at getting in later because we might come down here. So only worry on this one is Canadian dollar strength coming through with the US dollar. And again, we're assuming we are going to get US dollar strength. If we get CPI figures coming out negative, that isn't going to help interest rates, and that's not going to help the US dollar. So it's all hinging on the CPI. Swiss, New Zealand Swiss, again, sideways. There's no levels to look at. We're not going anywhere at all today. We're just sitting there waiting. No bias, nothing. Sorry, New Zealand or Swiss, actually, we have got a bias, haven't we? Oh, no, so it's range bound ever so slightly. So we did have a bias on this when we had sentiment on the side, but we haven't got sentiment at the moment. So sideways. New Zealand dollar yen looking for shorts. This isn't a bad looking potential short here. So we've got the retest today. We have had no follow through. So again, I like it short. The thing that concerns me about this is the propulsion move. We've tested it once. We are back in testing it again. I don't know if this is sellers stepping back in on us or whether it's going to want to come up and retest more of this area. We've got this resistance here, which we didn't get tested. So that I'd be much more happy taking a short if we can get an RSI extension, ADR hit, and we've got a resistance on our side. That's where I'd kind of like to get in short on this and then scale in. But again, New Zealand is fairly bullish still. Fundamentally, it's doing well. Sentiment's good. You know, it's just all good for the New Zealand, so it's not the best thing to trade. New Zealand, US, again, waiting for that move down. US dollar, we seem to be getting some strength coming through now. So that's coming down. Stopped out again. Just not getting any joy today, are we? It is just a total range fest. Not losing or gaining anything, really. It's just break-even session. Awful. But if we are now down here, so we've got basically an outside bar. If you look at a higher time frame, where are we? We're 9 minutes before the close. So let me just run through these. New Zealand dollar, US dollar. So yeah, like that short. We've got the high, the low, the lower high, lower low, double top. If we get that broken, same as all the others. If we get this broken, we get this US strength. This thing's got nothing but blue sky until we get down to the propulsion move that started on the unemployment figures. So that's the retest. And potentially, once we've done that, continuation to the downside. So like New Zealand dollar, US dollar short, hourly, it looks much, much nicer. So we're back up in these highs. Nice rejection, reversal alert, retest, drop. It looks really good, New Zealand US dollar for a short. US dollar CAD longs are just about to get a reversal alert on the hourly. Finally. So you're going to get the reversal alert. So potentially retest long or just go, one or the other. We've got loads of room. And obviously up to there. Again, US dollar strength is what we're waiting for. Same with the US dollar Swiss. So US dollar Swiss has taken out the lows yesterday, pushed back up, continuation up into the propulsion move. So that's all of them. And US dollar yen, I wouldn't get involved with at the moment. It's just sideways mess. Oil's dropping again. So looking at the NAS, we've not quite got an outside bar. Not quite. So just an entire hour of chop. Utterly chop fest. Got to sit through this rubbish. So this is your new range high and low to play with, basically. So really, when you break out of that low, you're selling straight into support with the potential to get killed. If you come out the highs, you've got room. So that means obviously coming out of the highs means a weak US dollar. So it's very, very difficult to pick any bias on this thing today. The short bias is limited. Unless you're getting in now, obviously on the pullback. So high, low, lower high is somewhere in here. Anywhere in here, really. I'm just going to cancel these buy stops off. The EA will put them back on, but I don't want to get, what I don't want is a spike up into here to retest this area and then a pullback. I just don't want to get triggered on those because I'm much more bearish on this at the minute. So I'm just playing the fundamentals myself. We've got 5 minutes until this candle closes. When this candle closes, you'll notice at the end of the candle, end of the hourly candle, we tend to get a lot of volatility in that last 5 minutes, especially in the last minute, where they're unwinding. The algorithms are unwinding the hourly strategies. So you might get a little bit of a whippy move at the end of the hourly candle. And then quite often at the start of the new hourly candle, we get that big strong move in either direction. So I'm just going to watch this hour play out. But what I don't want to do is get gathered up into longs when there's potential for it to do that. Just seems to be all week, literally, for the last... If you take out of the equation all the index trades that I've made this month so far, I've done very well, pretty well on the FX stuff, but not enough to make more than a couple of percent. It's just not. There's just not been the movement at the moment. There we go. So this is the hourly candle closing. Totally sideways on the NAS today. Again. Total chop fest. But we are just whipping. I've been watching this go from 1.5% to 1% roughly in both directions for the last few days. That's literally all we've been doing. Not got any moves in any direction, which is why I've banked a load of stuff today on the FX side, because I'm just taking it off with a view to putting it back on again, like that euro US dollar. I think that's at the moment, until we get these figures coming out, that's what we need to be doing. I was contemplating taking that high again and I didn't take it. I really wish I had of now. Didn't quite get there. If we'd have got to that high and swept it and rejected it, I'd have taken another contract short there, and I'd have been out again down there with another $400, but we didn't manage it. Okay, 2 minutes to candle close on the hour. So very similar on the Dow and the S&P, just utter nightmare today. DAX is doing well. Nice breakout to the upside on the DAX. Again, just very, very weak. Asian session, London, Chop Fest, New York, Chop Fest, just managed to get out the highs. And it's just chop, 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 chop. Not conducive to low time frame trading at all. We're really close to the high here, so I'm just going to get ready to cancel off these pendings when it puts them in, because I don't want to go long. If it does go long, it's fine, but I just don't really want to expose myself long at the minute. Not after that candle. Yeah, Christmas tree, look. Straight down, straight back up again, outside bar, bullish engulfing. It's not even going to give us a bullish engulfing, look. It's just going to give us an outside bar, more indecision. Don't get much tighter than a doji than that. Horrible. Oh, there we go. Okay, so there's your hourly candle. Flip a coin. So this is a rotation day. So we're just basically doing that. There's lots of examples of this on the website, on the strategy page. So this is the type of day that we're likely to put in at the minute, unless we get some serious movement this afternoon. Time 4 o'clock. So pound US dollar, inside bar. Again, no movement. Euro, inside bar. US dollar CAD's probably the same. Oh no, US dollar CAD's pushed up. So we've got a weak Canadian dollar. So you'll find everything will have pushed against the Canadian dollar. Canadian dollar with, oops. We've got a strong Swiss franc as well. Weak CAD. Right, so I'm not going to do much else today because nothing's moving, so can't trade. So I'm going to basically look. I've adjusted stops trading stops and break-even stops to be wider. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to babysit this for the next hour and see if we can get a market structure move in to come down and retest these lows. That's all I'm going to play for today. If it comes and it pushes up and it breaks out to the upside, fine. Is what it is. I've got that one on there. So if we're going to run at these highs, we're either going to get some rejection with limit orders up there and pull back down, in which case then I'll probably break even or take a small loss on that trade. I'm more inclined to say that we're likely to break down and we're going to get some US dollar strength coming in. So the last hour, we've had a bit of US dollar strength. Yeah. So that continuation, I think, is more likely to happen on the US dollar strength, which will drive the indices down. So whatever happens on the euro US dollar and the pound US dollar, you'll find happening on the NASDAQ. If that doesn't play out, I'm not really interested today because I don't think there's going to be enough momentum to move this up to the upside. I think we've only really got a chance of getting a decent down day in today. So I'm going to babysit this for the next hour, looking to get in short and try and build a short position to try and get some money on the table, really. But other than that, there's nothing else really to look at. There's no other opportunities, which we've just gone through all the pairs. I've got the EA running on everything that I've got on at the moment. So I'll be adding positions into these if I get an opportunity, but nothing's moving. So just sideways movement. Do you think price will reverse what it did when Jerome spoke? Well, it has already. Pretty much. So we were here. Powell pushed up to there, and we've come back down. Done it. If you look at, you can look at sessions as candlesticks as well. Like Asian session, London session, outside bar, New York session. At the moment, is a bull candle. I'm anticipating them trying to push down to these lows today, a little bit more US dollar strength, which means that the New York session is going to be an outside bar. That's what I'm looking for. So I'd be looking short on this, but not far. So you got outside bar. All of it is sideways indecision today. The only news events we've had have been talking heads, and the talking head said he's not going to talk about anything interesting to what we usually want the talking heads to talk about. So what can you do? If he comes out and says, I'm not going to talk about anything. In prepared remarks on the central bank independence, Fed's Powell does not discuss the state of the economy or prognosis on monetary policy. I'm going to talk absolute rubbish, and nothing I'm going to say is going to give you any inclination as to what's going to happen with the US dollar. The market has gone, all right, we'll go home. We'll go down the pub. That's basically what they said. Let's go to the bar. And that's what's happened. So the algorithms take control, and we just get rid of those pendings. Do you know what? Somebody came up with an enhancement for this for only trading long or short. I think I might add that. Actually, I can do it, can't I? Because I use MT4, and MT4 is better than MT5. There you go. I'm only going short. Yeah, I don't think we'll get much today. So I shall do a little bit more back testing this afternoon and just wait for something to happen. But just an utter chop fest, isn't it, today? Right. So still, in a week, all that's happened is I've managed to get a 1% loss in, and 0.78 of that is on today. So, there's nothing this week really that's moved far enough to get any trend moves starting whatsoever. All the mean reversion trades have worked out have paid for the mean reversion trades that haven't. We just haven't had any movement. So I think seriously tomorrow we've got some Aussie dollar movement on the cards tomorrow morning. So I've got, at the moment, I'm only exposed on Aussie CAD because I've taken New Zealand off. So I'm hoping tomorrow that we get some CPI figures, which are, well, it doesn't really matter which way the CPI goes, basically, on this one. So I want Aussie dollar to drop. So inflation coming down would be lovely. But that's really all that we've got news-wise tomorrow. We've got the bond auctions after everything's closed, which we tend to get a little bit of movement off sometimes. But other than that, I really get the feeling we're going to have another sideways day or a slight up, slight down day tomorrow, waiting for Thursday. So this is just a little bit of a dead week this week. But we will see. We may get some more movement. Again, just nothing happening on the NAS. End of day sell-off is all really you can hope for, I think, today. So let's have another go in the morning. Right. So I'll be back tomorrow morning. I'll be in the Telegram group if you need me for the next hour or so. But other than that, I'll just watch this, see if we get any movement, and do some back testing, and then have a look tomorrow. But if you are in anything, just keep it tight and try and get out as fast as you can, really. If you've got some profit, try and get it in the bank. It's going to be very difficult to get any moves started until Thursday. So, all right, guys. So anything you need, come in the Telegram group, let me know. Otherwise, I'll be back in the morning at 7:50 for the DAX, for the Frankfurt session. And we'll have a look at all the FX pairs and run pretty much the same analysis as today. Everything's going sideways. And we'll see if we can get any opportunities. We might have some movement off the Aussies that we can play on tomorrow morning. So we'll have a look at those. Okay, have a good afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you are. And I will see you tomorrow.